Welcome back to the Mayorverse, everyone. Mayor Reynolds, aka Midnight Mayor, here, coming at you with another video. Today we're talking about xDefiant, right? Everybody across the whole FPS space is talking about xDefiant. This was once a Tom Clancy game. It is now a Ubisoft original, though it still has factions from The Division, Ghost Recon, Far Cry. You know, it's a Ubisoft multiverse. If you haven't heard of this game. It's essentially, you know, it's being called a COD killer. And I first played this game a long time ago when we were under NDA. I played it during the most recent beta. And it's been announced for quite a while, several years. And they kind of developed this one in a weird cycle, if I can say that. It's in today's age of marketing and releasing games, I feel like xDefiant is at a strange hype cycle. Like, it got announced, it was hype. It kind of got like a bad rap because it had this punk rock style, you know, but it had the Tom Clancy name on it, and Tom Clancy fans didn't like that. Well, tons of people are playing it. It's getting a lot of attention. People are calling it a COD killer, like I said. So let's talk about what it is while we check out some gameplay from my recent Twitch stream. So at its core, xDefiant is very Call of Duty-like. You have operators, however, that have different abilities, and, you know, almost a class system, a faction system. The TTK is a little longer than Call of Duty, as you're seeing on screen here. But, you know, this is a Ubisoft multiverse. There's various game modes and objectives. There's domination you'll be familiar with, the push the cart like Overwatch. And it's a very fast-paced game that's getting attention for its maps, its gunplay, and its movement, really. It does feel like an old-school COD game when you play it. But evolved in a way, because there's, you know, some newer game design in there with again, like the class system and so on and so forth. So what do I think of it? That's what you're all here for, right? To me, this game, it's one of the strangest betas that I've ever played, in both good ways and bad. So this game pretty much gets all the difficult stuff right. So it does have the gunplay is fun. The movement is very fast paced. The game is very fast paced. The map designs are the strength of this game. They've got a ton of variety. They're well designed. They're fun to navigate and move around. They're just all around well designed maps, and there's a lot of them. There's like I'm pretty sure that there's more maps in xDefiant in this beta than there was in Modern Warfare 2 at launch, which is something to really be proud of and speak to the amount of time this game's been in development and how hard the developers have worked on it. Maps look great. They feel great. And they all are tied to various Ubisoft franchises. So on one map, you'll be like, oh, this is from The Division. The next map, you'll be like, oh, this is from Far Cry, which is really cool. And it'll be a nice little piece of kind of like, not really nostalgia, but flair for those fans of those Ubisoft franchises. The one thing I will say about the gunplay that I absolutely do not like, and this is one of those things where it gets so much stuff right, but it gets so many weird basic things that for a game to be in development this long, to not have figured out or received feedback, I don't understand. Like, the hip fire in this game is absolutely useless. Like absolutely useless. You can put a mag in the 70 from point blank and you'll hit like 2 bullets. Like, the bullets just seemingly disappear. As a big, you know, Apex Legends player, I played a lot of games where I rely on hip fire, and Call of Duty, I play Call of Duty, you know, and that game has obviously weaker hip fire. The hip fire in this is way worse than Call of Duty. It's absolutely useless, and it feels weird to me. It absolutely needs to be fixed. It doesn't need to be overpowered. It doesn't even need to be like amazing, but it feels like it's totally useless, and it's like an actual like game balance problem to me, that you should be ADSing from like 6 inches away if you need to hit shots. And I feel like this is something that I've picked up on a lot, and I've heard a lot of people say that this game is like totally balanced around controller. And I have no issue with, like, they can kind of put whatever input they want to put first, kind of, and design it around that format, you know. Some games are just better with a controller, some games are better with mouse and keyboard, but the hip fire thing makes it much harder for mouse and keyboard players who generally utilize hip fire more than controller players, in my experience. I've also heard that the sniping is much better on a controller than it is on mouse and keyboard. If you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments, obviously. But the maps, again, the maps are amazing. Best part of the game. just this hip fire thing is bizarre to me, and I don't know how it made it through to this point, because I believe this game is actually close to release. I think this game's coming out this year. They're offering Twitch drops with various skins that carry over to the final game. I wouldn't be surprised to see this actually release in free-to-play format this summer. I'm gonna say sometime in the June to August timeframe would be my guess. Other things that are very bizarre. I've got a lot of great things to say about how this game plays. Like it does, like people saying like it could be a COD killer. Like it plays like a game that like fans of Call of Duty will absolutely like, and the maps are great and the guns are great, and there's like a battle pass system already that looks pretty good, and they've got lots of different, again, Ubisoft franchise influence that could be really fun. But like really bizarre things like the loading times are horrid. Like you end up, they've had massive server problems, which I'm not going to get into because I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they'll get that stuff under control. But like loading times, it'll be like 5 minutes between a match, and then your match will be over in 5 minutes. You play your match, and then just again there you sit for 5 minutes or so, like with really long loading times and really long matchmaking times, and that's really strange to me. Again, like it seems like that should be a little more under control at this point of development. And I think if they don't fix that, I don't think players, you're expecting a fast-paced game with this, and you want to get people into matches quick and get them out of matches quick. You don't want to sit there for 5 minutes or more waiting to get into a game. That's going to make players just like impatient, and it's going to lead to them enjoying the game less. Also, the menu systems, they've had massive problems through this whole beta with the menu systems not working, being very laggy, unresponsive, loadouts not saving. Again, that I'll chalk up to like a bug. Progression not working, that I'll chalk up to a bug. But the menu systems as a whole are just like breaking and freezing. And again, beta, I get it, but that seems like a basic function. Like normally at this point in development, the hard stuff to get right, like they've got all that right. The gunplay is good, the maps are great, like the game design is good. And some of the infrastructure though, like the basic stuff is not working. And hey, maybe they'll get this stuff nailed out really quickly, like because it should, in my opinion, I'm not a game designer, be easier to get those things right. But for some reason, they're not. It's these basic things that could hold this game back, and I don't want to see that happen. Like this is definitely a solid game. Ubisoft needs a win. They've definitely got some great maps here. They've got fun gunplay. The whole vibe of the Ubisoft kind of multiverse thing they've got going works a lot better than I thought. The soundtrack is good. Like the flair, and they're getting the word out there. A lot of people are hearing about the game. There's a lot of good stuff here. But if they don't get this basic stuff under control, like the menus and the loading times, the servers, I assume they're going to get those nailed down. They could be in trouble, and they're just going to drive people away from the game, which I don't want to see happen. Well, guys, that's it for this one. I just wanted to give you my quick thoughts on the xDefiant beta. If you have questions, if you have your own thoughts, please leave them down below. Like I said, so much good about this game, and it's getting a ton of attention, which is great for it. It could be a solid competitor to Call of Duty, and I think they're very smart to focus on the core arena experience of this game and not get into, battle royale or big team battle style stuff. Like they're focusing on their core 6v6 gameplay, and it's working. And I think that could, I think it is. I mean, people are watching it on Twitch, they're playing it left and right. Tons of people are streaming this game, enjoying this game. It could really pay off for them. They just really need to nail the basics. I would continue to utilize Twitch drops. I've been critical of Ubisoft in the past. They've been really strange about their hype cycles. They've killed off, Hyperscape, which is a game that I loved. They botched the whole delivery of that game. They've been all over the place. So they could really use a win here with xDefiant. And I think they're in the red zone. Like they're ready to score. And they just need to get those last few yards, those last few pieces in place to make sure the xDefiant is a hit. So that said, guys, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your thoughts on xDefiant down below, and please come check out my new channel, Midnight Mare, where we're covering Dead Drop and Midnight Society exclusively We're basically making the best dead drop content on the internet over there. So come join us. Check out our sponsors. Links down in the description to all of those. Thank you for working with us, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Mayor Reynolds out. This video is sponsored by me, kinda. You can use Mayor in your supporter creator slot in Fortnite and across the Epic Games Store to support me, and it costs you nothing. Part of your purchase is simply donated to me through the Epic Creator Program. So within Fortnite and within the Epic Games Store, make sure you have Mayor listed in your supporter creator slot, and you will support my content creation budget directly. Thank you to everyone who does. Let's keep this going. Make sure you're using either the Doomslayer skin or the Master Chief skin, or actually the Marcus Phoenix skin, because those are the 3 best skins in Fortnite, and we all know it.